Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of EUIC Radio. So today we've got an official notice from the Pokémon Center over in Singapore, which is frankly pretty bad news. You see, they've got an important notice, an official announcement regarding the sale of Pokémon TCG Products, which will be released on the 7th of February. The following product will not be available at Pokémon Center Singapore and Pokémon Store Shopee Singapore. And that is Scarlet and Violet 151 Blooming Waters Premium Collection. The following products will not be available at Pokémon Center Singapore, but they will be available at Pokémon Store Shopee Singapore, while stocks last, the Evolutions Mini Tin, and the Evolution Surprise Box. Yeah. Turns out Pokémon Center Singapore are not stocking some of the big Pokémon TCG products, and frankly, we know who's to blame for this. This isn't some big surprising turn of events. No, we know the idiots that are to blame for this. We've seen them all over Twitter. Now, the Blooming Waters Premium Collection, let's start with that first. We've got this new Scarlet and Violet 151 product. Now, promo-wise, it's frankly underwhelming. We got Venusaur and Blastoise CX, but they're reprints from the set. We've got Bulbasaur and Squirtle that are reprints from the set. We do have Jumbo Blastoise. That is new, that is exclusive. That is the one thing in this box that has not been released somewhere else. So at least we've got something in there that's new. But really here it's 12 packs of 151. Because as I've shown you before, picking up 151 right now it's not an easy thing to do, right? 151 is just sold out on the Pokémon Center. Everything is sold out on the Pokémon Center. And that's a big deal because, of course, the Pokémon Center, as you might imagine, they have an easier time getting stock of these hard-to-find products. Because they're the Pokémon Center. So, if the Pokémon Center has no stock, generally speaking, that just means there is no stock around. And that means that the price of 151 is absolutely skyrocketing. And because the price of packs is going up, that's pushing the price of singles up. Which is not ideal. I mean, take Charizard, for example. Charizard has really started jumping up lately. We're basically talking here about a $200 card as I record. But you can see the graph from TCG Player on the screen here, and you'll notice that basically around about the end of September, this started really shooting up in price. And it's now, like I say, about a $200 card. It's getting a little bit silly. But of course, the prices of packs are going up, which pushes the price of singles up, which ironically pushes the price of packs up, because people are trying to pull the singles, and round we go. It turns into a very expensive set. And this is a way to get 12 packs of this set. Remember, there's no such thing as a booster box of 151. So this is a way to get a big chunk of packs. The problem is we saw what happened when it was released in Costco over here. And well, to put it bluntly, it didn't go very well. There were just scenes of people rushing in, picking up whole trays and rushing out. There were fights reported, people just clearing entire stores out. And frankly, just ugly scenes all around, Here's a screenshot from a video shared by Tabletop Village over on Twitter. And this kind of sums up quite nicely what happened with a Blooming Waters Premium Collection. Bunch of people ran in, grabbed as much as they physically could, and then left. Well, yeah, that's not good. And like I say, we had reports of fights, we had reports of, frankly, unsavory behavior, and Pokemon Singapore just don't want to deal with that. Also, fun little side note about the Pokemon Center Singapore. For those of you that don't know, it's literally in the airport. But you do have to go out through security and then back in order to access it. And what was really sad, I actually did, when I was going to Oceania Internationals in 2023, I actually connected through Singapore. The airport, the correct airport. And basically, my flight was delayed, and then I didn't have enough time to get in. And I couldn't go. And to be fair, I had just enough time to run. I was almost missing my connection. So, yeah, it kind of sucked. I really wanted to go. I didn't get to go. That made me genuinely sad. The mascots are Lapras and Celebi. It's awesome. One day, I hope I get to make it out there. But right now, it has unfortunately not happened. Cool Pokemon Center, though. I've had very nice reports from people that have been. So, they've basically just said, look, this 151 Blooming Waters Premium Collection, it's not worth it for us. We're not stocking it. We're not doing it. Now, it's worth pointing out that if we have a look for Prismatic Evolutions, it says that it's not being stocked at the Pokemon Center Singapore, but it will be available at Pokemon Store Shopee Singapore. I believe that's the online version of the store. So it's basically just saying we're not stocking this in person. And they're specifically talking about the Prismatic Evolutions mini tins and the Prismatic Evolution surprise box, which shouldn't, I'm going to go there, surprise anyone. Nailed it. Because that's essentially what's being released on the 7th of February. There are exactly 2 products being released on the 7th of February. They are the mini tins and the surprise box. So the reason this is worded as it is essentially them going, look, on the 7th of Feb, there are 2 new products coming out. We are not stocking these 2 new products in person. And it's obviously, very obviously, because people can't behave. And it really is as simple as that. Because this is not the only time I've seen Prismatic Evolutions not being sold. Some stores are just choosing not to sell it because it's easier than not. Now, it was actually confirmed that Prismatic Evolutions is not being sold at the Pokemon Center at the European International Championships. This was reported by VGC and confirmed by the lovely Joe over at Cerebi.net. And we don't know exactly the reason for this, but it could be that it's a very similar kind of thing where it's just not worth the hassle. Of course, here's the thing. Pokemon don't usually put out signs like this. So it may well be that the idea here is going, look, if we tell everyone we're not selling Prismatic Evolutions, people won't, or that's not true. Scalpers won't try and get into the Pokemon Center to get it. And maybe, just maybe, real fans will get in and actually buy what they want. Because I'll tell you right now, I want to go to the Pokemon Center at the European International Championships, and I don't care if they're not selling Prismatic Evolutions. That doesn't affect my decision in any way, shape, or form. But I bet there are going to be a bunch of people who are affected by this, and that's kind of the point. Also, if you haven't noticed yet, I'm going to be on the casting team for EUIC. I'm going to be there behind the desk, and I'm so excited. It's going to be amazing. But I'm going to be looking up to pick up stuff like this that Cerebi went and revealed, or this Ogerpon stuff. That's what I'm excited about. But again, there's another example of Pokemon coming out and saying, we are not stocking this set. And actually, for what it's worth, Pokemon Center Singapore did do this for the initial drop of Prismatic Evolutions back in the middle of January, where they just, again, put out an official release going, we are not stocking Prismatic Evolutions, we're just not doing it. Sorry. And it does seem like this might become more and more prevalent. It's certainly, in some ways, easier to keep the scalpers at bay online. And I know there's bots and all of that, but there are ways around it. And it just feels like we're getting to a stage where a lot of stores are going, we're not feeding the scalpers anymore. We've had enough of the people that don't care about the hobby coming in and picking up all of the product they can physically carry so that they can then sell it to real fans at a vastly increased markup. Remember, we've already had the official announcement from Pokemon that they are going to be reprinting Prismatic Evolutions, and I really appreciate the wording of that. Because if you go to the wording of what they actually said, it says, we are actively working to print more of the impacted products as quickly as possible and at maximum capacity. They're not mucking about with the wording of that statement there. They're making it very, very clear we are printing as much as we possibly can. We are trying to print as much as it is possible to print with what we've actually got. And I just think this is wonderful. So no, it's not a good thing that the Pokemon Center in Singapore is not selling Prismatic Evolutions. And it's not a good thing that Pokemon are coming out and saying, look, we're not selling it at the EUIC Pokemon Center. But it is a good thing that Pokemon are recognizing the issues here and essentially taking steps and trying to drive away the scalpers and trying to make sure the products get into the hands of fans. And this is why when I talk about these topics, I'm always trying to preach patience and telling you guys that it's going to work out in the end, because I believe it will. Because I was there when Shining Fates was impossible to get hold of on release, and then I was there buying Shining Fates casually online at a discount when it was everywhere. And I was there when Champion's Path was impossible to get on release. And then I was there when Champion's Path was just readily available a little bit better. And look, I know right now we are in a stage where 151 is hard to get, but there have been plenty of times I've casually walked into shops or gone online and ordered 151. And I'm sure we're going to get to that place with Prismatic Evolutions. It just really sucks that we have to go through this rubbish to get to that stage. I've just seen enough in the past with these kind of sets that I have absolute faith it's going to work out. It's not the ideal story. I don't like talking about these stories on the channel, about the Pokemon Center Singapore being like, we're not stocking it, it's not worth it. But I do think it is all going to work out in the end. For now, I want to know what you think about this. I want to know if your local stores have been choosing not to sell it. I want to know anything you want to tell me. So let me know in the comment section, would ya? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at EUIC. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. And of course get shout-outs on the channel, like the lovely Ashley Munns, who's been a supporter of ours for a while now and is a very lovely person. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.